The word Eira has two opposite meanings. Pirush echad is the Eira Lashon Mafil. Eira is the source of Eir. It is accomplishing light. Not that it just shines, it's bringing light. Ubeloshen kveit kedushas admurem tzoyin, as the Mittel Rebbe says. The second Rebbe of Chabad, who says in Shari Eira in his discourses, so peil yetzer lahafel asoir. His inyan is to create the Eir, to accomplish the Eir, to activate the revelation, light. The pchines mokero Eiru amoker amafel as apchina the teira Eira nal. The moker Eir, the source of the light, is the source that activates the pchina of teira Eir. So from Eira, Eira is accomplishing Eir. So therefore, Eira is higher than the level of Eir.
Is Eira the
source? The source, the mafil.
Like the shemesh to or? Eira is like the shemesh? The ma'or. Is
actually,
Eira the ma'or?
Actually, Eira here is like moir. It's giving the light. It's mafil, the light. Or pirush beis. Then comes another explanation, which is exactly the opposite. The Eira hu loshen nekeva. It's feminine. Shahu bepchines eir hamekabel. It is the light of the receiver. So it's not the one giving or accomplishing the hashpah, but it's actually the receiver.
Reversal.
From this we'll also understand in all the different concepts mentioned in this verse of Laihudim Eisoeira Shagam Bohem Yesh Beis Pchinas. That also in them you have the two pchinas, two different levels, two different standards, which are also sometimes extremes, opposite extremes. As it will be explained soon. This is how the Rebbe analyzes the Maimer, right with the introduction, and he already mentions, how he's approaching it. And the Mela, one answer will answer other questions also. An answer for one question will be also, once he opens up, it's like shedding light at something, then everything becomes clarified. Explaining what the inyan is in the Yomra Razal, the Razal say, Nevles Chochma Shalamayla Teira. That the inyan of Nevles Chochma, the inyan Haino Shateira in Nevles Chochma, the Teira is only branching out from the Chochma Shalamayla, from the wisdom, from the knowledge, from the intelligence, from the higher worlds, the higher attributes. Teira is only a branching out from there. Noivlis is like a twig that's coming out from a tree.
Does it mean the other side?
Noivlis? No.
Nevles Chochma, the other
Nevles
side.
Chochma means, no, here Nevles means stemming out from Chochma. And the same thing is also mentioned in Kishva Arizal in the writings of the Arizal, which is actually, the Arizal himself didn't write it. It's his Talmud, Rab Chaim Vital wrote it. Hatam lo mischila teira beis beis. Why is it the teira began with a beis? Mishum shatera teiras habriya, because teira is related to the world of bria, which is under Atzilus. Well, the Mailam is there, and higher than that, yes, teiras Atzilus, and higher than that is the union of teiras Atzilus, the union of Atzilus. So therefore, it's called beis, according to one pirush. The Rebbe has in Likutei Sichos Chelik Tezvav a whole bunch of pirushim. Explanations why Teira starts with a base. One pirush is because it's considered al teiroscha sheli maditono. So we say al teiroscha in bria that sheli maditono, that you taught us in Atzilus. So since it's already a second world, it's called with a base. And then there is a pirush basis bracha. There's different pirushim, different levels, different facets of Teira, explaining different insights of why the Teira starts with a base. What is it in the attributes? There is Teira, as Teira relates to Sfiras HaChochma, to the attribute of Chochma. Al koponim nevles Chochma. It stems out of Chochma. Even if it's not the essence of Chochma, but it relates to Chochma. It stems out from the attribute of Chochma, which is the first of the 10 Sfiras, the 10 attributes. And then there's a level of Teira which is higher than the Sfiras HaChochma, which is the level of Teira that's higher than the intellect. We can maybe say the same way that we have in the intellect of a person, we have his intelligence, and then we have the potential, the capability with which he is understanding something. So this is the source for the intelligence. There's the keach hamaskel which activates the intellectual capabilities that a person has. And that activates the intelligence. So this is the inyan of Eira. On one hand, Teira is the inyan of higher than Seichel. It's called Eira. It's the source of light. The source of Teira is higher than Seichel itself. Higher than intellect. Higher than the attribute even of Chochmah. This is related to the second explanation in the word Eira, which is Lashon Nekeva, a feminist. Shahu inyan HaKabbalah is the inyan of receiving, reception. Ki hamshachas makar HaTeira hi dafke. In other words, how do these two explanations go together? On one hand, it's the source of Teira. On the other hand, we're talking about the other end, which is the receiver. How do they go together? So this is because ki hamshachas makar HaTeira. How do we draw down the source of Teira? Hi dafke al yedei sha'Teira miskabelas lemata beklei hamekabel. Is dafke how Teira is received in the vessel of the receiver. In other words, the drawing down the source of Teira is accomplished dafka through the receiver in this world. So therefore, one is linked with the other. So therefore, when it comes to speaking about Teira, and the Teira is described as Eir, as light, there is Eira, the source of Teira, but it's very directly linked with the receiver of Teira, which is the other end, the inyan of Eir, the receiver of Teira, the light that comes from the source of light, and that is the receiver in this physical world, which is the Jewish nation. And the vessel, each one in his own human intellectual vessels, how we can receive and understand Torah. So therefore, these are the two pirushim, two explanations in the word Eir, the two concepts that we have in Torah, because Torah has in itself two inyanim, the source of Torah, and how Torah is received in this physical world. And now the Rebbe is going to explain why the word Eira is used in the Megillah. Because this is actually by what standards they were holding by the Megillah. They were holding Mesiras Nefesh, which is their source, which connects higher than Torah. With this we'll understand why the Torah is referred to Megillah with the word Eira. Not Eir, but Eira, in a feminist. Why? That our sages tell us in the Gemara Shabbos that when Yidden received the inyan of Teira, they fulfilled what they accepted. The Bishas Matan Teira, when it was Matan Teira, when it came to the giving of the Teira, they took the whole mountain and put it over them like a glass vessel. And B'meila, they were in a sense forced to receive Teira. This is a inyan that they were, in a sense, forced. When did they do it on their goodwill? Dafka in the time of Achashverosh, they did it from their own goodwill, which means they received it and they practiced it and brought it down to an ultimate fulfillment through Mesiras Nefesh, self-sacrifice.
It's also from fear, though. From Haman, who also got afraid. Not doing it from Ratzon.
No. If they had renounced their faith, they could have lived. They chose to be Moshe Nefesh to not renounce their faith.
Right, and even in a thought, and even not to think a thought, an alien thought in their mind. That's when they accomplished the fulfillment of the inyan of Matan Torah. The same way that when it comes to fulfillment of something, when a person does something, observes something, he's observing Torah mitzvahs, so he's adding a strength in the inyan that he is fulfilling. So after Purim, after this time of Purim, when they fulfilled Torah in a practical sense, so then there wasn't any more this argument, this consideration or comment that they were forced to do it, because they already did it then on their own. With this we'll understand why the Torah is referred to b'shem Eira. Why?